What's up, my friends? Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to dive into a film that could beat Top Gun Maverick. Maybe the Air Force will produce it. Hey, maybe the Navy will produce it. Maybe the Navy's like, you know what? Top Gun Maverick was too good. We need to create our own competitor. But with this film, guys, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to share the name of it with you, which some people have been like, don't release the name. Don't tell anybody about it. I'm a big fan of if something's going to come alive to the world, you got to share it with the world. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. So during this film, you're gonna see the breakdown of the big picture. But keep in mind, there are some details, there are some changes that I've made. So if you're a Hollywood production studio and you wanna help me make this film, definitely let me know. Or if you just wanna enjoy the video, you're gonna be able to do that as well. You're gonna see the name of the film and then you're gonna see what the trailer would potentially look like. So stay at the very end of the video to catch the trailer. Maybe subscribe, maybe dominate that like button. Every time you dominate that like button, this film named, you'll have to wait to watch the film, watch the video here to see what it's named, but every time you dominate that like button, Top Gun Maverick has a worthy competitor. Let's dive in. Here we go. So when it comes to beating Top Gun, the Air Force is going to really need to embrace character development, authenticity, Air Force history, and taking the governor off. Essentially, not many things should be off limits. We should be able to develop characters and develop this story in an authentic way. And remember, about 10% of the story that I've created here is gonna be true, and the rest is gonna be poetic license. Because at the end of the day, it's a movie, it's gotta be entertaining. Here we go. So the background and the premise behind this movie starts with Robin Olds. Robin Olds was an iconic Air Force fighter pilot. He was an ace in World War II. He shot down lots of MiGs in Vietnam as well. And he kind of is that representation of youthful vigor of a fighter pilot. He's also a bit rebellious. He's not a yes man. He doesn't just listen to leadership carte blanche. He makes sure that he thinks for himself. He rose to the rank of brigadier general, but he did it all while being a rebel and challenging the status quo. And to highlight that, there was a mission in Vietnam where Robin Olds essentially changed the tide of the air war. F-105s were being shot down like crazy by MiGs. So Robin Olds rolled in with a squadron of F-4s. But he disguised them as F-105s. He flew the same routes the F-105s would fly, and when he got airborne, he didn't maneuver like an F-4 would. So the MiGs saw what they thought was a formation of F-105s. So they blasted off, thinking they're just gonna wail on these F-105s like Club and Baby Seals. But when they got up there, Robin Olds and his flight mates turned and burned like no F-105 could, and destroyed an entire squadron of MiGs. And that set the precedence of how Robin Olds used rebellious type tactics and strategies that weren't seen before to defeat the enemy. And then some poetic license would be the fact that the F-4 originally didn't have a gun in Vietnam. But Robin Olds rolled in and said, I will not fly an F-4 without a gun. So gun pods were made and shipped over to Robin Olds so he could continue to destroy fleets and fleets of MiGs. So that's the heritage behind the main character of this story. And we're gonna fast forward to 2022. And the main character is gonna be named Apollo. And the reason why this fighter pilot is named Apollo is because his grandfather was Robin Olds, who I just told you about. And in Greek mythology, Apollo is the son of Zeus. Zeus is an incredible Greek god, and Robin Olds is essentially the Zeus of the fighter pilot world. But with being the son or daughter of someone who's extremely high up in the military comes a stigma. Some people might think, you're just here because your parent was exceptionally well at being a fighter pilot. But at the end of the day, it's not like other sectors. You can't just take over the mom and dad business of being a fighter pilot.
Hey, here's your cockpit. I used to fly it, now it's yours.
No, I saw this firsthand on the Thunderbirds. I was flying with the then Chief of Staff's nephew for the Air Force. And there was some stigma that, this person just got there because, their relative was extremely high up. I'm here to tell you that was absolutely not the case. This pilot that I flew with was one of the most exceptional fighter pilots I've ever known, but it's worth saying that he did have to deal with some of that stigma, and he had to fight through that. It was kind of like, he had to do that at the beginning of proving himself, even when he might not have had to if he had not been the descendant of someone high up. So there will be a slight chip on Apollo's shoulder as he battles through that. So Apollo is essentially an Air Force version of Maverick, where he's not a yes man, loves adrenaline, and he loves spending time with the people that he loves. The character development is gonna be Apollo loving adrenaline. He's probably gonna drive some sort of like souped up Ford Raptor that he goes and rally car races and rages through the desert in and enjoys time with his friends and family. But at the end of the day, he is a character who is not afraid to be a bit of a rebel. He also loves volleyball. Okay, just kidding about the volleyball part. He also has a close friend / love interest named Siren. They met in flight school and now they happen to be put in the same F-35 squadron. There's not anything romantic currently happening between them, but there's definitely some tension. And I think it's important that there is a strong female fighter pilot in this movie. I got to fly with a lot of exceptional female fighter pilots, and I'll tell you the story about Fifi. She was the first female Thunderbird pilot, just an exceptional human being, exceptional pilot. She was my squadron commander for a little while, and it was just awesome to see her do what she did, and how she operated an aircraft was incredible. So I think having that in this movie would be very important. So what's gonna happen is a mission, a high stakes mission, will be passed down to Apollo. So in lieu of a no-fly zone being set up in a particular country, obviously with current events in Ukraine and Russia, this is a hot button issue. But what we're gonna do in this mission instead is we are going to send in a single formation of F-35s to prevent a nuclear weapon from going off and to rescue a president, just in case that bomb were to go off. So it's gonna be a high stakes mission where there's two parts to it: rescue and save a president, and also destroy a nuke facility and give that country no ability to drop a nuke in the future. So this mission is top secret, but it's gonna require an F-35B, which is the vertical landing and short field takeoff variant of the F-35. Now Apollo, he's an Air Force F-35 pilot, the F-35A, so he doesn't have any experience in the F-35B. But the reason why they need him is because he is one of the only F-35 pilots who knows how to operate a missile which is dedicated at destroying nuclear facilities. So this mission is incredibly top secret, and the two parts are he's gonna have to be trained on the F-35B because he's gonna fly into enemy territory that's essentially a country that's under attack. He's gonna land, do a vertical landing, pick up a president who is the VIP, who's the high value individual who needs to be saved. And from there, he's gonna take off and launch this incredibly classified missile that's gonna take out this nuke facility. So there's two parts of this mission. And in order to do it, they're gonna have to use a secret prototype F-35B that has two seats. So as the story progresses, Apollo has to go to a training program with the Marines. He's gonna go through an incredibly expedited training program in the F-35B to learn how to do that vertical landing and short field takeoff. Doing things like that, in operations in regimes like that can be incredibly dangerous, and there'll be high stakes training involved as well. And it's at this point where someone is potentially gonna be lost or badly hurt during their training. And this is when the hero is getting reluctant. So in any hero's journey, there's a point where the hero starts to get reluctant and maybe feels like they shouldn't be doing this mission. What's gonna happen is a mentor is gonna come in. So think of any great movie that has an incredible mentor. So in this scenario, I say we bring in like a Clint Eastwood type character who actually flew with Apollo's grandfather, with Robin Olds. And he's gonna convince him that this mission is way bigger than Apollo. And even though Apollo suffered a loss during this training environment, he still has to go in and accept this mission in order to save thousands, maybe millions of people. So Apollo's going to reluctantly accept this mission. He's gonna go in, he's going to do that vertical landing, he's gonna pick up that high value individual, the president, and then start going towards the second part of his mission. So he's going to successfully launch that missile at the nuke facility and disable the enemy territory from being able to drop a nuke. And then at that point, he's going to link up with a squadron of F-35s with his flight mates. They're going to disguise themselves as F-16. So they're going to have something that makes them look like they have a bigger radar signature than they really do. So then the enemy country is going to launch a whole bunch of fighters to go after what they think are F-16s. So Apollo's going to use the tactic from his grandfather, Robin Olds used back in Vietnam, to dupe this enemy country, whatever they're bringing up in, to fight these F-16s. And then once they get close, they're going to discharge whatever it was that was making them look like the F-16 on a radar and just wallop on this enemy country's fighters. But during this exchange, it's messy. Things can happen. You can fly through flak. You can do all kinds of different things that could damage your aircraft. So one of Apollo's flight mates is going to have a damaged F-35. And then at this point, we're going to bring in some more Air Force history. And we're going to bring in Porto's push. Porto's push happened in Vietnam when an F-4 was so badly damaged that they were sinking, their engines weren't working, they were going down in enemy territory. So Porto, the pilot of another F-4, told that F-4 to drop their hook. So they dropped their hook, and then Porto pushed that jet outside of enemy territory where the damaged aircraft crew could eject safely. But it damaged Porto's aircraft so bad that he had to eject as well. Now, he was later admonished by the Air Force saying this was a risky maneuver, you never should have done that. But we're gonna replicate that in this movie. So Apollo's flight mate's jet is gonna be so badly damaged that Apollo is gonna realize the only option is for him to have his flight mate drop their hook, and then he's gonna push them out of enemy territory. But in the process, while doing that, it's going to badly damage Apollo's aircraft as well. But like all good heroes do, they make it happen, and he gets his flight mate to a coalition base that's just outside of enemy territory where they safely eject. Now at this point, Apollo understands that the president that he has in his aircraft, if he ejects, he could get killed. He doesn't know how to land properly. There's so many different risks with having the president eject. So what he has to do is execute a landing with extreme damage to his aircraft. And one of the main things that's damaged on Apollo's aircraft is his nose gear. So he's not going to be able to land correctly. It could smack the nose gear down when he lands and hurt or injure the president in the back. So what he's going to do is he's going to execute a landing without a nose gear. And essentially what happens is someone has to be waiting, like a truck or something, and they have to, once the F-35 comes down, they have to back the truck in or place something that catches the nose gear there, and it will save the day. This has actually been done by a Harrier, and the video is incredible. So Apollo's gonna execute that. So from there, the dragon is slayed. Apollo and the president are safe. Apollo's flight mates are safe, and they don't have to deal with being shot down in enemy territory. So let me know what you think. If you have any adaptations to the story or anything else that you would do different. And I think that the name of this movie should be Apollo. And that's it. We keep it short, we keep it sweet, we keep it simple. If you have other ideas for what should be included in this movie or other names for the movie, let me know in the comments below. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed that breakdown of this competitor with Top Gun Maverick. I think it could really be something. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm excited for this to potentially see the light of day with your help. It definitely can. If you like, if you share, if you even subscribe to the channel, it'll help with the reach of this video, and I would greatly appreciate it. The biggest compliment you can give me is just watch another video. Thanks so much for being here, guys. We'll catch you in the next video. Most of all, have a great day.